Well, howdy, folks. Welcome back to the Poorly Educated Podcast, the only news show where we explain world events like we're yelling them across a Waffle House parking lot at 2 a.m. I'm your host, the man too broke for a government job and too honest for a campaign. And buddy, America's got itself in a three-ring circus again. We got a government shutdown longer than my uncle's third marriage, National Guard troops being used like chess pieces in a high school civics class, and international peace talks that look more like an episode of The Bachelor, Gaza edition. So, grab your coffee, or moonshine if you're a realist. 'Cause today, we're diving into Crises Deepen, October 8th, 2025, the day the circus came to town and never left. Segment 1. The shutdown enters second week. Back pay and backstabbing. All right, y'all. It's day 8 of the great American government shutdown, or as I like to call it, take your job to the afterlife week. Now, usually, when the government shuts down, everyone gets mad for a few days. Then they open it back up, slap each other on the back, and call it bipartisanship. But not this time. Nope. President Trump just told 750,000 furloughed federal workers that back pay ain't guaranteed. Said it depends on who we're talking about. Now, I've heard of selective service, but this is selective salary. Let's be honest. Telling government workers they might not get back pay is like telling Santa Claus he's getting audited. The man's job runs on faith and cookies. But Trump's out here treating it like a reality show reboot. Some of you will get paid. Some of you won't. Tune in next week to find out who gets eliminated from the federal payroll island. And he said some folks don't deserve to be taken care of. Well, that's a new twist. Imagine TSA hearing that while they're getting screamed at by a man trying to smuggle soup in his carry-on. Trump's basically turning America into a giant unpaid internship. Work hard, maybe you'll get exposure, or deported depending on the episode. And get this, Senator John Kennedy from Louisiana even clapped back, saying, "It's not up to the president. Congress has got to appropriate the money. Read the Constitution." Now, when John Kennedy's the voice of reason, you know we're deep in the swamp. That man looks like he keeps the Constitution in a glove box next to a box of Little Debbies. But here's the real kicker. Trump said he's using the shutdown to permanently shrink the federal government. Said a lot of those jobs will never come back. Which is funny, 'cause that's the same thing my ex said about me after I left her with a broken mower and a dream. The Democrats want to keep healthcare subsidies alive. The Republicans want a clean bill. And the American people just want to go to work without Googling, "Can I sell plasma for rent?" Meanwhile, the economy's losing $400 million a day. The TSA's collapsing. Flights are delayed. And somewhere in Atlanta, a grandma's been sitting in Terminal B since Thursday trying to get to her niece's wedding. We've reached a point where the nation's economy is running slower than a Windows 98 update on dial-up internet. I swear, if this shutdown goes on much longer, we'll all be trading chickens for dental care again. But hey, at least that's a bipartisan tradition. Segment 2. Military deployments. The Chicago Showdown. Now, y'all ever notice how every time politicians say temporary measure, it ends with tanks in the parking lot? The Trump administration sent Texas National Guard troops to Chicago. Yes, Texas. Because apparently, the president thinks state lines are just decorative. Illinois filed a lawsuit faster than you can say unconstitutional invasion, arguing that you can't just send troops into another state because you got bored waiting on Congress. Governor Pritzker called it political theater, and he's right. It's political theater, but it's the kind where everyone forgot their lines and the stage is on fire. Senator Dick Durbin said the troops were being used as political pawns. Now, I ain't no chess player, but if your pawns have M16 and deployment orders, maybe you're playing the wrong game. A federal judge said she ain't blocking it yet but wants a hearing. That's lawyer talk for, y'all have until Thursday to explain why you turned Illinois into Fort Apache. And other states are watching like a deer watching a combine. Minnesota's already prepping for their own invasion, and you just know someone's gonna call it Operation Hot Dish. Now, I ain't saying Trump's overreaching, but when you got governors quoting the 10th Amendment on live TV, it's like seeing a raccoon wearing glasses. It's both impressive and terrifying. This is turning into a full-blown states' rights rodeo, and I can't wait for the merch. T-shirts saying, "My governor fought federal overreach, and all I got was this National Guard barracks." Folks, if your government needs a court hearing to determine whether the Army can legally go to Chicago, something done broke way before the Humvee did. And honestly, using troops for political drama is like frying bacon with your shirt off. Yeah, it's powerful, but you're gonna get burned eventually. Segment 3. Gaza ceasefire talks. The peace that might stick. Now, let's take our show international. 'Cause nothing screams world peace like a bunch of billionaires flying to a resort in Egypt to end a war that's been burning for 2 years. That's right, folks. Gaza ceasefire talks are in Sharm el-Sheikh. You know a peace conference is serious when it sounds like the name of a vape flavor. We got the US, Qatar, Turkey, and Israel all in the same place. It's like a Thanksgiving dinner where nobody likes the host. Trump sent his top envoys, Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff. 'Cause when I think Middle East conflict, I think Manhattan real estate. But apparently Hamas said the talks feel hopeful, which is good, 'cause hope's about the only thing you can still export out of Gaza. Egypt's President el-Sisi said the messages were encouraging. That's diplomatic code for they haven't walked out yet. And Egypt even invited Trump to a signing ceremony if the deal works out. Which is bold, considering the last time Trump was near a treaty, he tried to autograph it in Sharpie across the logo. They've even exchanged lists of hostages and prisoners. Which means the talks are at least in the let's trade baseball cards phase of diplomacy. But here's the problem. Israel wants Hamas disarmed. Hamas wants guarantees Israel won't restart fighting. And meanwhile, everyone's pretending Jared Kushner can fix this with a PowerPoint and a new golf course. To make things worse, violence ain't stopped. 8 more Palestinians killed, 61 wounded, and Israel's far-right minister decided to go sightseeing at Al-Aqsa Mosque like it's spring break in Jerusalem. Nothing says, "We're ready for peace," like starting your day with a provocation. I swear, this whole situation's like trying to put out a grease fire with a Bible. Everyone means well, but it just keeps spreading. Still, there's a strange optimism. Maybe, just maybe, we'll get a ceasefire that lasts longer than a Trump lawsuit. But don't hold your breath, especially if you're in the Middle East. In conclusion, America, now serving chaos, extra crispy. So, here's where we stand, America. The government's shut down, the military's moving in, and our foreign policy's running on Egyptian hummus and good vibes. We've turned checks and balances into cash and bounce. Trump's threatening federal workers' pay, governors are suing the feds, and world leaders are hosting what looks like the Real Housewives of the Sinai Peninsula. If this ain't the most American October since pumpkin spice was invented, I don't know what is. But don't lose hope, y'all. This is the land of the free, the home of the brave, and the nation that once thought electing a reality star might be fun. And remember, history ain't written by the winners. It's written by the unpaid interns who somehow still show up to work during a shutdown. That's all for today, folks. I'm your host, coming to you live from a country that's technically closed, but spiritually open for business. Tune in next time for the Poorly Educated podcast, where we try to explain America, one dumpster fire at a time. God bless, good luck, and may your paycheck arrive before your next prayer does.